YouTube becoming an increasingly turbulent and unpredictable platform on which to operate. We'd like to thank Dan, Emma, Luke, Matt, Pierce, Richard, and Ryan for their years of exceptional services. We support them. And we'd also like to thank our viewers for their continued support in the toughest climate we've ever experienced as a company. So, that is really a shame to hear, of course, because I don't like to hear anybody losing their jobs through no fault of their own, especially in this tough economic time that we're living in. So, for people who don't know about all this, here's a very brief overview of Cultaholic Wrestling's YouTube channel, sort of fortunes and why they've faded over the last year or 18 months or so. Now, Cultaholic was founded by former What Culture Wrestling YouTubers in 2017 after a major split. So that was, I don't know how to pronounce his surname, Kitty or Cassetti or whatever it is. Ross Tweddle, Jack the Jobber, Sam Driver, and Adam Blanky, they were all formerly with What Culture Wrestling from the Big Sound. But they all left, and then more or less for the years following, the only person who remained with What Culture, who everybody seemed to like still, was Simon Miller, who's still there, I believe. Now, a short while after Cultaholic formed, Adam Blanky was terminated from the company discipline, which happened with one potential road to basically the most popular guy there. And he's now got his own YouTube channel, he's doing pretty well, so I understand. But up until 2024, the channel seems to be averaging 7 million views a month, which is rather respectable. And currently there are about 915,000 subscribers. But I want to go to the metrics here, and I want to use those to explain further. So, same year, 2024, saw the last surge of subscribers that had already begun to very much slow by 2024. As you can see here, in certain times, around Christmas time, they were still getting up to 9,000 new subscribers a month. But by late 2025, the new subscribers, if we go in late 2025, October, were basically non-existent. They've got like 2,000 new subscribers since October in 6 months, which is, an incredible downturn. This is because of some kind of really key changes in personnel. Triple Jump, which was a gaming division also under the Cultaholic banner, I guess, faltered and then released a video in April of 2025 citing challenging times in, once again, the exact same thing that Cultaholic said, turbulent issues and being in an overly subscribed genre, namely gaming. That was a problem for them, and they have started posting again. I checked, but apparently that's all Patreon and stuff. Then later last year in 2020, of YouTube's algorithm changes and issues. Others accused Cultaholic then to sort of like when they were trying to combat it, into leaning a little too much into the sensationalism to get extra analytics. Something that I personally completely understand why you go there, because constantly, as a professional YouTuber, it is a constant fight on eyeballs in an even ever more crowded field of content producers out there. And, despite that we all understand that YouTubers whether they're content, it's also a progress of the materials we're after. It's like this instrument as well, which is content required, and you do try and insert some occasional those are some key his name was pronounced that because he was sick of wrestling and just wasn't enjoying it anymore. Just fine. Once 20 years old, he might rent it and Jack the Jobber would burn down so he so from Cultaholic, and he wanted to do his own stuff, and he also might see, I guess, the way things were headed with the trending down to numbers, and then maybe jumped onto the start to channel that one, and there's all based on the decline of views and the interaction of Cultaholic this last year. From the people that I've read on, Reddit, social media and whatnot, have said that certain coverage has changed, don't know if that's positive or negative, or they lead to day events stuff, or that they've made one listen, but every outlet is accused of that constantly, including me as well. I'll do one thing pro WWE and the same being paid of, and then I'll do one thing pro AEW and the same being paid from that. Anyway, maybe, and this might be the real answer here, is that maybe the biggest change is that the marketplace just got more crowded over time. There's way more options there. As far as I can tell, no more wrestling fans really being made. Or simply that taste change, or that nothing lasts forever. People drift away. That is a cold hard facts in whatever media you care to. I've had my own shows. I'm going to keep relating this back to me as well. But I have my own shows that have ebbed and flowed. At some point, fans one day tune out and just don't tune back in. That's just kind of the cold hard reality of it. That's the true issue for whatever reason. And let me know in the comments what you think is the reason for Cultaholic sort of suffering with viewership. But let's be on our way. To the point that I'm going to go back here. To the point that in April of 2026, there we go. Of April of 2026.
Let's take advantage of this.
Around 15 minutes after 16, 17 minutes. And that's all well and good for me to get 3.1 million, and trust me, it is amazing to rate my stuff for clicking and even put a video that long ever. But the reason why it's great for me is because I'm one person with no editing required, as you can probably tell. With this form of presentation, aside from maybe one or two instances, this channel has been entirely by me, and that's it. So the reason why it is because I've met myself is looking pretty drastic. But here's the one question that I do have. Once again, I have to relate this to myself because it will make sense. I have two full-time editors that do work with me. Other people do something serious. Two full-time editors. As well as they do all the YouTube stuff, all the podcast stuff, and all the socials as well. And if you haven't followed me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok as well, you can feed them to everything as well. Editors, others, so guess it's editors. So, we've got some news to talk about before we close out the show. Quite a lot of news as well. And this is, I guess, the thing you've got to talk about the most is WWE going after certain content creators. It's not like the likes of us. It's reaction channels in which of no context or context, but nothing added to it. WWE have been doing this for about 3 weeks. We'll talk about the irony of that case. Immediately when you read that news, what were you thinking about it all, and kind of who's in the right on the people around this?
Well, the very first thing I did, which we're all aware of, was message the WSI network group chat that we have and said, what's going on with this? And yeah, I was a little worried because obviously when I had the Wrestling Analysis channel in both iterations, I know it might have been an automated thing, but I felt like I was on the radar, especially with the original one and Don Stevens from AEW. So I was worried that they were trying to shut down any criticism, anybody that talks about their product, that they're not absolutely completely in control, which was, I think, a very logical reaction. We had to get a difference, the differentiation between whatever they're looking at doing. Obviously, the first thing I think of is with the 2 iterations of the Wrestling Analysis, do we have to figure out how to pivot the SmartBoard content, because that is really, that's the crux of what they're talking about on using footage. I wasn't aware of the right category of content that we're going after until you did your awesome research to find out.
Yeah, well, essentially, it's, what we do is very good. It's fair use. It falls well with fair use. We'll get to that later. But they've been going after very specifically over these last few weeks. They've got a third-party company who's doing this, of course, and it's all AI automated as well. But they're going on social media. I don't think as much on YouTube, but your Twitches and Twitters and Instagrams and whatnot. You're pulling content that is wholly WWE, the reaction to it. Just sit there for hours and watch wrestling. They're just showing full shows, full matches, whatever it might be, and adding light to it. That will all because I don't like no other content.
Stay flexible and adapt. We won't miss this chance.
I mounted it!
It's kind of been able to play fast and loose, but just fuck yourself out. Yeah, make a thumbnail face. was here, this is back here, this was up here. That's the border we crossed into the Great Swamp of Wisconsin, right?
It's very much. It's very much not used to that. It's not supposed to be doing this. AEW does it, it just needs to be Because obviously Mark Spear and whatnot we're all talking about, we've had our greatest social media interactions ever in the history of WWE, and I'm wondering if they saw that and thought, well, but all these other people are kind of, you know, barnacles on the ship here, lynching views from us. What if we got rid of them? Then they'd all migrate to us, or maybe watch the television shows and whatnot. Do you think that's kind of what they're getting at?
Yeah, but I think they're, once again, the problem is right here, directly in front of your face. Or if you have a mirror, that's the problem with low attendance or things happening where it's not trending upwards. it's your own creative, you know, what can I say it?
What are we
Find
making
your
today?
creative as far as outside of Danhausen right now, your comedy act is number 3
Got something in
merch
mind?
seller WrestleMania weekend. A guy you really have to feature. So they're blaming the fans. You did an excellent video about Triple H blaming the fans. Mark Shapiro saying that's the one in your future endeavors, fans.
Ready to get
if
to
you
work?
only watch our stuff, we can find new fans, Chuck. They're literally trying to blame the fans.
Now that's a good choice.
These reaction channels, they're the reason why we don't have more views and more money. But this is the problem with pretty much what everything's at. All these companies, all these brands, everybody's trying to sell the
I'll be waiting here.
fans or anything else. Tend to more and more
Right.
to alienate these fans, which I assume the reaction channels are also wrestling fans. How much is really? It's kind of like the whole thing about trying to lock down things, trying to, you know, what's the saying in video games now? Buy it's owning. Nintendo said that.
I think it's just the goal to still feature fan reactions, and I assume they're taking them without permission, and then putting them in their own openings for Raw to Backlash recap after they're already taking them down. It's one thing to do it before you take them, but after you're taking them down and still featuring people, and once again, I assume without permission at the same time. I mean, they're just opening themselves up for copyright claims.
But the thing is that you have to look at who's reacting, and if it's all positive reactions, or you're reacting like a fan that appreciates what they're doing, and you're also a fan or a channel or a brand that gets access to ask questions at the media scrums, do we have an unofficial club WWE with those people?
Yes.
There you go.
You have to fear, because yeah, there are some people who I swear are only doing all these faces. Like, obviously, one
Let's be
occasion,
on our way.
with the two in the back of their minds, thinking, wow, I hope WWE sees this. Wow, I hope this opens up opportunities for me to interview people or be featured on the show or get invited here, there. I'm sure a lot of people, their sole motivation is to get in with WWE one way or another.
In other words, even the reaction channels that they're still featuring that favor whatever creative decision they make or finish or goes over, it's basically that we are in WWE without begging. Because what they're doing is these reaction channels are just like most of the talent that isn't there right now. You're waiting for the car.
The unfair
I've mounted it! I'll do what I can! Now's our chance.
Really long
This thing's
as well.
incredibly
So,
detailed.
for the most part, I don't know where to stand. I think there was a lawsuit regarding some copyright holder versus some reaction channel or whatever got streamed, and the streamer won. So I think there's actually precedent on the streamer side.
And I can't think it wasn't the wrestling category, it was another one, but yeah, they definitely won that. But it doesn't create any precedent. Now, when you do that kind of thing, obviously, no matter what, you now have to do a great deal of legwork within the confusing, non-communicating YouTube system, right? You're not going to get anybody on the phone unless you have a managing partner, which some of them might have. You know, a dedicated rep that you can work with. Well, most of the time, you're communicating with AI. And it's already with news-related reaction, I guess. Isn't it already after 24 or 48 hours? It's already in the ether, so that money's not being made.